Hello, everybody. Welcome back to this channel. Hope you're doing good. Now, the controversial businessman Malcolm X has just confirmed that he's the one who called General Libeya on the day Katiso Molefe was arrested. He has revealed that he's the one who called and not Molefe as we previously thought. This story gets interesting by the minute, but I honestly hope that Malcolm X understands and appreciates the kind of mess that he's putting himself in. Malcolm X did an interview with eNCA, and eNCA in return contacted General Libeya to confirm if indeed it was Malcolm X that called him, and he did confirm that yes, it was Malcolm X and not Molefe as we previously thought. But the interesting thing about this whole thing is that Africa News Global, Kenny Kunene's online platform, did a whole article about this whole thing. And I'm just thinking, Kenny Kunene just doesn't want us to keep quiet, but we're here for it, right? We'll play the video from eNCA and read the article from Africa News Global. Please listen to both stories and pick up the discrepancies, and let's discuss them down in the comment section.
Of December, the SAPS and the Hawks arrived at this house to arrest murder accused Katiso Molefe for the killing of whistleblower Armand Swart. Since then, there's been much speculation about who called former Hawks head Godfrey Lebeya. Businessman Malcolm X now says it was him. He explains that he called Libeya to find out if his client's brother Katiso Molefe was going to be arrested. X says he shares a close relationship with Libeya and spoke directly to him.
I said, General, there are people here who claim they are Hawks officials and they were sent here by you. Then he said, wait, today? I said, yes, today. Then he said, look, allow me to verify this. Then I don't know who he called. But after having spoken to someone or some people, he called back and said, please send me the address of the place. I did. I directed him. Then he said, okay, this needs to be verified because I didn't send anybody.
X says Libeya dispatched a team to Molefe's home to confirm whether the arresting officers were from the Hawks, as they claim to be.
The first unit arrived, they verified them, they left. I saw two or three cars arriving, speaking to their commander, speaking to the policemen at the entrance. They were allowed access to the yard and the house. So they left, and even those that I personally know, they came back and said, yes, indeed, they are policemen. We verified that, and there's a mandate for them to search the house.
Despite working with KT Molefe's brother, X says he's never met the murder accused.
Nothing. I've never been to Molefe's house. I've been to the brother's house. I've never been to Molefe's house. I don't know if Molefe knows me or not. I don't have his number. I don't know if he's got my cell number or not. I called General Mkonas myself. I called him. I sent him a message I can show you on my phone. I said, General, I wanted to say, General, I'm the person that called, and my intention was not to stop the operation.
Libeya, responding to eNCA, says he knows X. He says it's not a norm for custodians of the details of sources, informants, or whistleblowers to reveal their identities. In this case, Libeya says the individual decided to come out before the commission started its work.
Let the law take its course, if there's to. I never intended to stop that operation. I wanted to verify if they were indeed policemen and what their intention was with KT Molefe so that I could report back to my client, who is KT Molefe's brother.
X says if summoned, he will testify at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry looking into the serious corruption allegations made by KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi.
It's a little bit of a longer read. Please bear with me. It reads as follows. The person who alerted former head of Hawks, General Godfrey Lebeya, about the presence of police officers who purported to be members of the Hawks at a house where a high-profile murder suspect was about to be arrested by a specialized police unit is not the suspect himself as alleged. It is alleged that Libeya dispatched a team to the home of Katiso KT Molefe to stop the arrest. At a press briefing on Monday, July 6, General Mkhwanazi made explosive claims against police top brass, high-ranking politicians, including Police Minister Senzo Mchunu and Judiciary. At this briefing, Mkhwanazi further claimed that on the day of the arrest of Katiso Molefe, the alleged mastermind in the murder of Vereeniging engineer Armand Swart on December 6, 2024, there was an attempt to stop the arrest by a police team from Gauteng. It has since emerged that the team Mkhwanazi was referring to was sent by General Libeya. Africa News Global can today exclusively reveal that the third party who called General Libeya on the day of Molefes' arrest in December 2024 is Johannesburg businessman Malcolm X, who claimed he did not request Libeya to send a team to go and stop Molefes' arrest. Molefe was arrested again last week in connection with the murder of Opa John Sifuka, popularly known as DJ Somebody. His arrest made headlines when police found Patriotic Alliance Deputy President and former City of Joburg MMC for Roads and Transport Kenny Kunene outside his house. Kunene, who has since resigned as both councillor and MMC, has been placed on 30-day leave of absence by the PA following revelations that he was outside the suspect's house when police arrived to effect the arrest. On Friday, December 6, 2024, a standoff between police and hawks nearly occurred when both parties arrived at Molefe's house. The police were there to apprehend Molefe in connection with the murder of Vereeniging engineer Armand Swart. In an interview a few days ago regarding the December arrest of Molefe, Libeya stated that he received a call from a whistleblower indicating that individuals purporting to be members of the Hawks were at a house in Johannesburg and were about to effect an arrest on a murder suspect. However, Libeya, who has faced scrutiny since it emerged that he directed members of the Hawks to rush to Molefe's house, refused to reveal the identity of the person who called him and alerted him about the presence of members of the Hawks at Molefe's house, stating that he could do so on the appropriate platform. However, Africa News Global has since established that the individual who called Libeya and alerted him about the presence of police at Molefe's house is Malcolm X. Libeya also confirmed that it was Malcolm X who called him. I initially declined to reveal the gentleman's identity because I consider him a whistleblower, and I thought I would reveal his identity as part of my evidence at the Judicial Commission of Inquiry announced by President Cyril Ramaphosa. Now that he has spoken to you and has revealed himself, I can indeed confirm that it is him and not the murder suspect who called me as widely alleged, Libeya told Africa News Global. On the day of the suspect's arrest, I received a call from someone who identified himself as Malcolm X, who told me that the people purporting to be members of the Hawks were at a property in Sandhurst, effecting an arrest of a person they claimed was a murder suspect. The caller indicated to me that he doubted that the credentials of the team at the scene, Libeya said. Libeya added that at no stage did Malcolm X ask him to go and stop the team from doing their job. He asked me if there was something I could do to send the officers to verify the credentials of the people who were at the suspect's house claiming to be members of the Hawks. I immediately called the division commander, who indicated to me that he also was not aware of that particular operation. I then requested him to send a team to go and investigate. Libeya said that upon arrival at the suspect's house, the Hawks identified themselves and requested the team they found at the scene to do the same. Once they had satisfied themselves that people who were at the suspect's house were indeed real police officers, my team left the scene and allowed the police to carry on with their job, said Libeya. And he added that if the officers had discovered that the people at the scene claiming to be police were not, his team could have arrested them for impersonating police officers. Asked how he knew the presence of the police at Molefe's house, Malcolm X told Africa News Global that he received a call from a client of his who happens to be friends with Molefe, who doubted the legitimacy of the individuals who were arresting Molefe. My client was convinced that those individuals effecting arrest were criminals impersonating police officers. A crime that has become very prevalent in this country. My client gave me the address of his friend and asked me to go and check what was happening. I then drove to the Sandhurst address provided by my client, and on arrival, I found dozens of people and many vehicles parked outside the home. I got out of the vehicle and was asked by the officers what I was there for. I identified myself and asked the officers which SAPS unit they came from. I got a very rude response from the officers who told me they were members of the Hawks and that it was none of my business why they were there. I asked them for their identification cards. They refused and asked me to leave. While the drama continued, a gentleman who identified himself as the lawyer of the house owner arrived and asked the officers for permission to speak to his client. They refused and denied him access to the property and told him he will speak to his client in court. I then called General Godfrey Lebeya and told him there were dozens of men in balaclavas who were carrying out an arrest at a house in Sandhurst who claimed they were members of the Hawks. General Libeya asked for details including vehicle registration numbers the officers were using and the address where all this was happening. I made this call in the presence of the police officers at the scene and even put General Libeya on the speaker to convince the police officers that I was in conversation with their boss if they were genuine members of the Hawks. Later, after my call, while I was still at the scene, more police vehicles arrived. The police officers in these vehicles engaged in a short conversation with officers found at the scene. They showed them their credentials and asked officers at the scene to do the same. After some long engagements between the two groups of police officers, the group that arrived last left the scene and also left shortly and I also left shortly thereafter. Asked if Libeya had told him during their conversation on the phone that he was going to send officers to the scene, Malcolm X said Libeya just thanked him for the information he had provided him, but didn't indicate how he was going to act on this information. Malcolm X said he was surprised that KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi at his press conference in July 6 claimed that when a task team was arresting Molefe at his house, another police team from Gauteng arrived with the aim of interfering. Malcolm X insisted that Mkhwanazi must have known it was him, Malcolm X, who had called Libeya because he made the call while the team Mkhwanazi had sent to effect the arrest were listening. Malcolm X said on July 14, a few days after Mkhwanazi's press briefing, he called Mkhwanazi to clarify that he was the person who called General Libeya. At 26 on the same day, 14 July, General Mkhwanazi returned my call, but I missed it as I was busy with something that I cannot remember. At 5:06 on the same day, 14 July 2025, again I returned the general's call, but he did not pick my call. The following day, Tuesday, 15 July 2025, at a minute after 12, I called General Mkhwanazi again, but he still did not pick my call. My intention was to clarify to him that I am the one that called General Libeya on December 6, 2024, with an intention for General Libeya to verify if he had indeed sent members of the Hawks to Molefe's house and not to stop Molefe's arrest as alleged. Kindly know that I called General Libeya as a law-abiding and concerned citizen, not as Mr. Molefe's friend as alleged by General Libeya, because I have neither met Mr. Molefe before, nor do I have his cell number, Malcolm X said. Hope you're still tuned in. Please tell us your thoughts down in the comments section and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And to show that you've listened till this far, please comment with a heart emoji. See you in the next video. Bye.